Hello everyone and welcome to Stat 385. I am your course instructor Daniel Eck. This is the fall 2024 semester and this will be our asynchronous class experience where I will record lectures and provide videos as we progress through this course. So right now what you can see on my screen is the web page, which I believe I've sent everybody a link to via email, and this will be your sort of your command center for operations in this class. And you can see, the topics that we will cover on the left-hand side, and you'll have like a little header for what we're covering currently, and this is the main page. So again, welcome to the class. Fall 2024 semester, Stat 385, Statistical Programming Methods, UIUC. This is a undergraduate level course. It is an introductory course, and we hope to emphasize two things: introduce students without a strong technical background to core concepts in computing and programming, particularly from a statistical perspective, and applying computing and programming concepts to data applications through the use of R. This will be an R-based class, and we will provide, in this video, we'll go over the course organization, course materials, how to interact with us, and within the context of what I was just saying, where to find the programming languages that you need, and how to obtain R and everything. Okay, so and I should say a little bit about myself. So this is a course objective, applying computing and programming concepts to data applications through the use of R. This is something I do quite a bit. I would describe myself as an applied statistician. I have a particular interest in developing novel statistical methods and studying, eventually studying their mathematical properties. But to the extent that I'm doing that, I always start with some kind of interesting application and try to think through the dynamics to eventually develop the method and the mathematical properties I need to study it. But it always starts with this application, in which case it starts with analyzing data sets in R, getting data sets, transforming data sets, writing scripts to process data sets more efficiently, or run statistical processes on them. And the better and faster that I get with R, the more familiar I get with it, the deeper I go, the easier that task of going through a data set becomes, and the better researcher I am because of it. I can find interesting questions to ask in data just because of going through these processes. So R really is the foundation that we're going to outline in this class really is fundamental to what I do. And so I am happy to be teaching this class. I'm happy to have you here. We're not going to be doing statistical research. We're not going to be studying properties of estimators or methodologies or anything like that. We are going to be doing programming for with the idea of statistics in the background. This is a statistical programming class, but we are going to be doing we are focusing more on the programming and less on data analysis, data exploration, although those things will sneak in a little bit. Okay, so this, again, is an online asynchronous class. You are watching me speak on a video. This is how it will be going. However, that does not mean that we are going to be isolated from each other, and I would like this to be a collaborative experience to the extent that that is possible. And so here are some the course resources. The first one on that point is ED. It's a discussion forum. You can click the link here. This would just go to my screen. You can see that we have Stat 385 this would be for the current semester once it's posted. And you can see that I've used these in the past. Hey, look, there's Stat 385 again. And so what this is it's going to be like a discussion forum. It'll allow us to, interact with each other. I will introduce myself formally on Ed. I haven't done it yet. It will be posted by the time this video is posted. Allow yourselves to introduce yourself to everyone here. And this will allow us to share code, ask questions. We'll get to that later. Going to the next one. This is a asynchronous class. It's going to have an auto grade system implemented through Prairie Learn. So you can click the link here. And I have some basic content. This will become more familiar as we go, especially in the videos that I will produce to supplement this one and go over the the materials for week 1. Okay, so yeah, I digress a little bit. So every single week, I'm going to have materials posted at the start of the week, and one of those materials will be a short video introducing the topics that we will cover the week. This one is a long form video because we're going to go over the syllabus and course organization, stuff like that. So generally speaking, I'll have a short, like 5-minute video, something like that, for just at a high level, telling you what we're going to discuss and what kind of materials or what assignments are coming up. And right. And then I will also go through labs and quizzes, which, jumping the gun a bit, once we go through the syllabus in this video, that'll start to make more sense. But those things are going to be your course assignments, and they will be, you will engage with them on Prairie Learn. Then Prairie Test, similar thing for exams. We'll have online exams at hopefully a convenient time for everybody. We'll have makeup slots as well. This hasn't been an issue in the past, taking these exams online. So, but it will be online. And then your grades and stuff will be on Canvas. Okay, so this is the landing page for the website. Yet again, I'm Daniel Eck. This is Stat385. You can click this link and it will navigate to the current week if I set everything up. So here you can see on the left-hand side is a little bar consisting of all the topics that we're going to cover. Week 1, introduction. So if I click this link, it goes to week 1. Okay, so right, welcome again. And we will go over the syllabus. Okay, so yeah, so typically speaking, these web pages will have a title, kind of where we're at, week 1, start, end, summary, what we want to cover this week, a list of course reading, which we'll go over in more detail, and then some videos. Here's that short 5-minute video. In this case, it's not a short 5-minute video because it's the whole thing. It's the syllabus, course organization, the thing that you're watching right now. And then I will also have a video in which I work the lab. So that's, follow along that. That's free points. Next video where I will go over things that will help you answer your quizzes. So helpful video there. And I would do this every time there's a new lab, a new quiz. These videos will accompany the webpage so that you can follow along and learn. This video, this set of materials for week 1 will be especially long. I want to give an enormous shout out and an enormous thank you to Professor David Dalpias, who's now in the computer science department. He is a colleague and a friend, and he played a large role in developing this asynchronous format that I am using today. He is a meticulous teacher, and so he has some extra tips that he likes to provide at the start of the semesters. I've looked this over. I think that this is a fantastic list of materials. This extended syllabus video, definitely worth a watch. I learned stuff about it too. It has life advice for surviving a semester, which I actually, it's things that you think about, but it's interesting. It's helpful to see it actually, explained. It's not always things that we can follow, but it's a good standard to try to emulate. Okay, you'll know more about what I mean by that once you watch it. Okay, so then this week we have 2 practice assignments. Okay, they will have no effect on your course grade, but they will help you become familiar with using Prairie Learn for both labs and quizzes. Right, this is an asynchronous class. Your assignments are going to be submitted, worked on via the Prairie Learn system. So it's just best to just do these, even though there's no course credit. They're easy, it's low stakes, but we're just building a foundation for the course. I think week 1, build the foundation. This is a low stakes environment, hopefully collaborative and fun environment. And for week 1, just kind of, get acclimated with the materials. Okay. And then office hours will be posted. We're not going to do office hours for week 1. I will have office hours provided in the syllabus, like the general times, and we'll go over that pretty soon. If there's any changes, I'll post them post them here. Okay, so, right. Let's go to the syllabus. Does this link to it? Okay, so that links to the syllabus. I think alternatively you could go to this tab up here, and that will also link to the syllabus. Let's see, FA24, Stat 385. Oh, syllabus. Yeah, okay, they both go, okay, good. The links work, that's a good thing. Okay, syllabus, right. So this web page will serve as the syllabus for fall 2024 version of Stat 385. Read it carefully. Okay, so, right, so this is Stat 385. We are here. We are online, asynchronous. You're going to be viewing this whenever you want. I am here right now. You are watching. Okay, so, right, so location, wherever you are, time, mostly whenever you like. Great. So, instructor, I'm Daniel Eck. Welcome to the class. I'm an applied statistician. I like programming, and hopefully you like it too. This will be our introduction class to programming, building a foundation. Yeah, as we've said, there's going to be one TA, Rajdeep Brahma. I've worked with Rajdeep in the past. He's pretty good. He's worked with this class before. He's got some experience dealing with programming. He's a good TA. So happy to have him on board. Okay, so notice that I have an email link for myself, not one for Rajdeep. That's because in this online course with an auto grading system, Rajdeep won't be grading your assignments, neither will I. It'll all be done via the Prairie Learn system. So there's really no need to have to contact him. You just need to contact me. But we'll get into specific how I want to engage, or how I think is best to for us to communicate in this class. Email being one of the ways. Okay, so right. So right, course description. Statisticians must be savvy in programming methods. Very true. Okay, so this is the foundation. Great. Okay. Textbooks. So the main textbook that we are going to use in this class is Atomic R, written by David Dalpius. Thank you again, David Dalpius, for all your wonderful material. And we will, in these weekly pages, I'll go back to week 1. We will link to reading. You can see it here, computing setup, getting started, Atomic R. So this should just link directly to, yeah, the relevant chapters. Awesome. Does this? Oh, no, wait, computing setup. Oh, yeah, it just links right to the direct. Yeah, perfect. Great. And then this is a seemingly daunting list of supplementary materials. We may link to specific things, or I may link to specific things within this set of reading materials. This is not something that you should view as like reading all these from cover to cover or anything like this. This should be viewed as a carefully curated list of supplemental reading materials for this course, but also not just supplemental reading materials for this course, but a carefully curated list of good resources for the R programming language at this stage, or intermediate or advanced stages. Right. So I mean, I read these things, especially this Hadley Wickham and Garrett Grolemund and Hadley Wickham book over here. These things are incredibly useful. R Markdown, the definitive guide, also very useful. There's some of these are topics that are either beyond the scope of the course or we'll be covering later in the semester, but a very, very good set of material, stuff that I use quite a bit. Yeah, where else? Oh yeah, this. Yeah, that's something I definitely. Anyways, nonetheless. Okay, so this is more aimed at about this level and maybe the next type of course. Then this is, the R manuals. Again, curated. It's provided here. These are intense. This is when I was in graduate school learning statistical research and learning how to program before these types of materials existed. There was the Writing R Extensions book. Very steep learning curve, but if you take the time to read it, you will learn R extraordinarily well. But that's not fun. It's not easy. This is a better setup. Okay, anyways, but that's there. It is the manual. It's great, but we're not gonna, maybe later when you do like your own software development, you'll find this kind of thing useful. Also, at a more, I'd say, basic level, or these RStudio cheat sheets, these things are great, and we'll actually reference them throughout this course. Okay, prereqs. You have to take some stat classes to be here. Okay, that's great, but we're not really going to be doing, we're not going to be doing methods development or modeling at an advanced level. We're not going to be doing statistical inference and stuff like that. But you should be familiar with stuff like what a median is, or a mean, or a histogram, stuff like that. So that's what we're covering here, because we shouldn't be explaining that stuff in this programming class. There's some basic stat experience that is expected, and that is covered in these classes. Okay, and then to emphasize, no expectation of prior programming experience. This is the introductory class. Okay, course communication, right? We're kind of touching this when I said that I have my email address. However, to interact in this class, I understand there's some challenges and some hurdles with an asynchronous environment. But there'll be ample ways to communicate with us. This is ranked in order. I would actually say that this is come into office hours and discussion forum ed are 1A and 1B, I would say. I mean, we have it at 1 and 2. But yes, office hours are, of course, the way to get your questions answered directly. We know what office hours are. So show up. I should say that the more the merrier. I know that typically speaking, questions are answered, one after another, and we'll do the same type of thing. The first person who arrives will get their, questions answered, and then I'll go down, the list. But typically speaking, if you're there, you might as well listen to the questions that other people have. You may have the same question. So, if you want to, cut and say, I have the same question, that'd be great. Or, type that in on Zoom. That's fine. And then there's this discussion forum. I sort of, linked to it already. I'm a big fan of Ed, the platform here. It is a great way to communicate. It's a great way to ask and answer questions. I really do want this to be a collaborative experience where we feel like we're, as a class, confronting and tackling this material all together. And to emphasize that, I would like, you can feel free to share your code on Ed. If you're concerned with cheating or something like that, or cheat, that kind of stuff, don't be. Because I'm saying that is not the concern. It is better to overshare in this class. You won't get penalized for it. I'm telling you that right now. So go ahead and do it. So this is meant for, if you have questions or things to discuss, course staff will answer them. You can answer them. I don't care. You're not oversharing. You're collaborating. Many things are collaborative endeavors, especially, right now with programming tasks and data analyses. I work with teams of people in varying capacities, and it's collaborative. Even if I'm the person who is, my role as supervisor, or I'm in charge or something, everybody has, something to say, and it's always better if everything's collaborative. So it's just the same thing here. If you can answer a question, go ahead and do it. That would be great. And then last for communication is email. I don't like email for questions related to course content. I think that's much better answered in office hours and discussion forum. However, email is a very important way to communicate, private issues that you need to communicate, and don't want to share it in office hours or via Ed. And then I can answer, your concerns as the course instructor via email. But if you have a question with like, I keep getting this error message, that's something that's better posted on Ed or come into office hours. Okay, so emails are actually reserved for private matters. Okay, office hours. Okay, Rajdeep and I, we met and trying to come up with a list of times of office hours that it can be convenient. We're mostly picking afternoon on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. If you're someone who likes to go to office hours and these times do not work for you, please send me an email as soon as possible. I know I just said I don't like email, but this is what emails are for. Okay. So Zoom links are provided for me and for Rajdeep. Here are the times. Mostly course material is going to be due on Thursdays. So we've tried to, we don't have an office hour on Monday. We don't have one on Friday. So we're trying to be accommodating for that. Okay. This may change. The schedule is on a week-to-week basis. In my past experience teaching this class, they haven't changed too much. So you can think of this as more or less a set times. If they do change, I will let you know. Okay. Right, a few things here. Let's see. When joining office hours, be prepared to share your screen. Right, so yeah, be prepared, be ready. I may not answer your questions directly, right, in office hours. I may, ask lead up questions to get you to see how to approach the problem. So be prepared to have a conversation, about it. I hope that the process is instructive. I'm not trying to be obtuse or difficult, but I do in office hours. I will try to get you to see things. But it's easy to do that in office hours as opposed to Ed. If you like office hours, show up. It's the preferred way to ask and answer questions. Ed being secondary. Yeah, it's also, if it's intimidating, that's I understand. But we're all here to learn. So feel free to ask your questions here, and also understand that people may have exactly the same questions. So you're really doing a service to everybody if you show up to office hours and ask your questions, or show up to Ed and ask your questions. And on the other side of that, students, if you're really doing a service to everybody if you answer questions. Okay. All right, Ed. Okay, so we've mentioned Ed. I can link to it again. It doesn't really, right? Nothing there. Well, by the time, hopefully I've set this up where by the time after when I posted this video, there will be a discussion format. So even though there's nothing there now, there will be by the time this video is posted. Anyways, so you should have access to Ed. You can join the Stat 385 discussion forum. Here's some, instructions here. So Rajdeep and I are going to prepare to check Ed at least 3 times a week, Monday through Friday. And you should be able to expect a response back from us within 48 hours, except for weekends, office hours as an alternative if that's too slow. And anyone can participate on Ed. Anyone can ask, anyone can answer questions. And if I see answers I like, I'll let you know. Or Raj, I'll let you know. Private post disabled. If you have a private thing, I'm just not gonna respond to private messages. You can send them via email, or you can, if it's a private, just post it on Ed in a public way. If it's a personal type thing, send me an email. Or if it's just some sort of really important thing that you need that isn't necessarily like, what is a function and what is this error message? Email is the way to go for that kind of thing. Right. One thing about Ed, you can share code. When you share your code on Ed, you should share it in a way. If it's an error message that you want help with, for example, then you're going to need to provide all of the code that generated that error message. If it's a low effort post or if it's a screenshot, I won't read it. I expect the students in the class, the other, your peers, I expect them to not read it. To interact with Ed and ask questions, there needs to be in a way where people can copy the code into R to see what you're doing, and then we can debug it. I am not a wizard. I won't be able to just read your code and tell you what happens. I wish I were a wizard. I wish I could just compile R code and tell you what happened, and also get inside your head to see or in your computer's environment to understand all the things that you have open. So if you have code, like what is the entire context of your running global environment in R, to tell you exactly how the error message is generated, I just can't do that. So we need all the code from start to finish that generated the error message in a way that can be copied and pasted into Ed, in a way that others can copy and paste it into their own computers. Okay. Right. So for email, I will be following a strict email policy. Right. So I hope that, so what I'm going to want you to do is provide a very detailed, concise subject, and then your email, and then that subject line should start with brackets stat 385, all caps. I will have some sort of filter set up, so if you don't do it this way, then I won't see it. And then you should provide a just concise description here. Okay, short description of your message. So here's some examples. This one's good. This one has improper format, non-descriptive subject. This one's not good. This one's not good because there's no space there. This one, it's not good, right? It's too long, and the information is found in the syllabus or website. Yeah, that's the other thing. In this course, I think not necessarily this course, in asynchronous online courses of this form, the syllabus, I think, will go a long way. Reading through this syllabus, understanding what is in this document is something that would go, a long way to success. And I generally think that you will do it. People will read it and understand what's going on in all of these, documents here. When we get to exam time, things would get a little bit trickier. I'll cover that later, but I generally think that people are responsible and will be responsible for understanding where the material is. I think that doing so in this online class would just make everybody's life a lot better. Anyway, so if you have a specific question about course organization, it will likely be found in the syllabus. So just make sure that you have this, you know where this is. Code discussion. Okay, we talked about this on Ed. Okay. Oh, but a little bit more that's in this document. Right, if your question is technical in nature, several steps you can take to ensure a speedy response. Okay, this I think is important. I don't know how many courses emphasize this. I don't know if I can emphasize it any stronger. I would say that you should be asking Google or some search engine your questions. If you have an error message, you should copy that error message into Google and go with it, go from there. Alternatively, I understand that even since the last time I've taught this class, that large language models are extremely can be seen as extremely useful for these types of asking and answering questions. I want to say that although that may be true, it's very important in this class in particular, this introduction class, to restrain from large language models as long as possible, using them as a last resort, because you need to build up your understanding of the core programming concepts and how how bugs in your code lead to particular error messages, and building up how to understand how to look for solving your problems before you go to a large language model. And that way, you learn. You need to learn a basic set of coding principles, so that you can in the future best interact with large language models. Now, if you do it now, you may become too reliant on them. I think that there's this. Sorry to go on a digression on this. I think that sometimes there's this thinking that we may not need programmers in the future, that large language models will just take over. Maybe so, maybe down the road that might be, the case. But in my experience, and in the conversations I've had with other, professors about this who are on the programming side, we feel that because we have the base, we know how to interact with large language models very effectively and efficiently, and we kind of feel like by having that that develops skill set, that it's one of these things where the large language model certainly helps us. I use them too from time to time, but I know how to ask, and I know how to engage with it because I have a programming knowledge base. I think you need to have a programming knowledge base before you engage with them, or else you'll constantly be going to them and you'll never be learning. So anyways, I would go to Google first. If you're in a time crunch, I understand, but go through the course resources. Oh, and another thing, large language models will be banned on your exams. So, answering lab and quiz questions is one thing, but we're going to proctor your exams. I'll have enough supplemental course staff, so that we can proctor these virtual exams, and you're not allowed to use them. So if the concern is maximizing your grade, then you should be avoiding large language models to the best of your abilities. Okay, sorry to go on that digression. All right, where were we? Ed, the discussion forum. Right, copy and paste. Write out your code so others can copy and paste it. Before you go to Ed, do your debugging on a search engine. Well, do your debugging at home or on your computer. Then, if you're stuck, go to Google, then go to Ed. Okay. Right, and again, for everything except exams. Typo. Change that. We greatly prefer oversharing to undersharing code. Right, so you are not by answering questions, by asking questions, you are not cheating. It is encouraged. It's all of us against the curriculum. We're on a team. Okay. But that being said, we still need to be good teammates and respect some semblance of structure for communicating with each other. And that's why this is all here. Okay, so course staff emails. I'm Daniel Eck. I'm the instructor for Stat 385. Okay, here's my email address. Welcome to the class. Okay, so we have assessments. Right. So what we're going to have in this class are quizzes, labs, and exams. No final, and a project. Quizzes and labs will be due on Thursdays, 11:59 p.m. We'll go over them in a little bit more detail, and then we'll go over them in a lot of detail in the other videos that you can view this week, where I go through the labs and the quizzes for this week for the practice ones. Okay, so but nonetheless, both will be implemented on Prairie Learn. You can click the link. Right now there isn't much there. Well, oh yeah, I have them. Great. You can see what you need to do. Sweet, Prairie Learn. And then here's lab policy. You can access the same thing by going to the top of the website. Labs quizzes. Okay. Lab policy, quiz policy. Here's everything there. Okay. I'll return to this in just a sec. Exams, there will be 2 exams, both administered through Prairie Learn Prairie Test, proctored via Zoom. It's a lot. There's a lot that we're covering right now. The exams will be, first one is October 10th. These will be they'll be virtual. They'll be at 7 p.m. 7 to 9 p.m. at a time that I understand it's not fun, but it'll be a time when we're all available and can do this. And there will be makeup times and stuff like that. Long story short, I don't want to worry about exams right now in the syllabus, other than to say that they exist and they will be worth a set number of points. I just want, and then, as this course will progress, I will, start providing more instruction and more focus on how these exams will be administered and what you can expect in them. Okay, so exist, we got plenty of time. Okay, so right now we just need to be getting used to Prairie Learn and going through the course material. We'll get into exams, and then yes, there'll be a project. So essentially, this course will be, so you can see over here the topics, right? So we do base R, tidy R, and then there's exam 2, and then there's fall break, and then it's just a project. After exam 2, there won't be any labs or quizzes. You have time to focus on your project. And then I'm going to jump just a little bit here to the grading breakdown to emphasize this point that the final project is going to be in the form of a Shiny application. We haven't covered it. We will cover it. I'm not going to place as much emphasis on the final as other courses might. This is something that we view that you can take with you beyond the course. If you put in the time and the work to do a good final project, or at least provide a basis for what can be a good project that you can work on after this class, then it's something that you can post on a resume or your own web page or GitHub page. And so we want this to be sort of, I don't think people have fun with final projects ever, but we want this to be as fun as it can be for a final project. It'll be fairly open. I mean, it will be shiny. There will be rules, but you'll have a lot of control over what you want to do. So anyways, 10% of your grade will be final projects. 10% of your grade will be labs. These will be weekly. These are, I will be posting a video going through the lab step by step. These are free points. These are participation points. This is showing a minimum competency with the material as we progress through it. Quizzes will be a little harder. They'll be 40% of the grade. And both quizzes and labs are going to be this low stakes, not infinite number of trials, but a lot. You can keep you can keep doing submissions. If your submission didn't work, then you can do it again. There'll be a little bit of a timeout between submissions, so you can't just spam it and not learn, just kind of guess and check. But essentially, this is low stakes points. And so if you're participating in this class well, and then you follow the rubric for the final, 60% of these points are just based on your effort and staying with and staying organized and with the material. Exams, I understand that exams are stressful and can be no fun. This isn't a weed out class. Like, we're not gonna write exam questions that are gonna be like really, really hard. Theoretically, it is possible if everybody stays with the material and everybody, stays organized and stays with it, everybody can earn an A in this class. This is not a competitive environment. We're a team. Labs, quizzes, going back here, will be due on Thursdays. And here is an outline for when they will be due. So Lab 1, Quiz 1 will be due Thursday, September 12th. So there's time until the first things are due. Now, let's go to this lab policy document. Okay, so there's going to be 8 labs. They're going to be administered through Prairie Learn. Take various forms. Okay, so, right. So you can get 100% credit if you complete the lab by September 12th, and you can get 75% credit the following week. So you have a lot of time to do these. You have a lot of time to get partial credit on them. Oh, I should say that if you complete 80% of the lab, then the maximum you can get, this will become irrelevant. So if it's September 13th, you have 80% done, you've already earned the 75%, you're golden. Okay. Right. And then what was I going to say? Okay. No. Okay. Then quizzes, it's a similar format. However, we're going to do this thing that I like to call buffer points. It's not extra credit. You can't get over 100% in this class, but if you complete the quiz with everything right at 100 by September 12th, then it'll be worth 105%, where those points won't take your grade over 100%. But if you accumulate enough of these buffer points, then as you continue to go throughout the semester, those buffer points can offset, poor performing quizzes or quizzes where you can't get to everything right away. So 105% credit on September 12th. So you have a bit of time. And then 100% credit the following week for the first one. And so when I go back to the syllabus here, the breakdown, so this is where these deadlines are to earn 100% credit for the lab, 105% for the quiz. And you can see that although there's time to do this lab one and we can get stretched out and relax as we transition to the semester, these things are going to keep trickling in. So it's best to stay, organized and energetic at the start of the semester and build that foundation, which is why, again, I encourage doing the practice labs and quizzes that are posted on week one. It's like basically just getting stretched out and you kind of just, ready to go with Prairie Learn. It's not going to be anything, too strenuous at this point. Okay. So quizzes, right. Okay. There's more material here. Back to the syllabus. Syllabus. Okay. Yeah. All of this, and we haven't even talked about R. All right. Okay, so we're going to be doing R programming. R is free. It's available here. There's a few download pages, one for Mac, one for Windows. I think the most latest version at least at the time, this is at 4.4.1. Sure. And then R is command line language. And so we are actually going to be interfacing with R via RStudio. I have an RStudio page open right now. So I can type my code here, stuff like this, and notice nothing's happening. So then I can hit on a Mac command return, and then you can see it pops up over here that I've taken the number 3 and assigned it a name X. We'll go over this later. I can also use R as a calculator. 3 plus 3 equals 6. Oh, there's that value. 3, taking the name X. Okay, great. All right, so I have a bunch of stuff open. I use R quite a bit. This is just, for me, this is just notes, and eventually, I'll create my own files with these notes playing around. I play around in R quite a bit. Okay, anyways. So RStudio is very nice. When I was in school, RStudio wasn't nice. It is very nice now. There's a lot of things you can do with it. There's no need for you to know that RStudio wasn't nice when I was a graduate student. I just say that because it's something that a lot of people use, and the makers of RStudio are very serious in making it as easy to use as possible. And so I just wanted to emphasize that, it became a product when I was in graduate school, and they've made it so much better, and they will continue to make it better as time progresses. It really is R is a nice language for statisticians. RStudio is a great space to work with R, and it will continue to get better. And then great, right. So back to how to interact with this course. There's our discussion forum ed, quiz labs exams on Prairie Learn. Exams will be implemented via Prairie Test, Canvas for project and letter grades. Okay, right. There won't be any drops for quizzes or labs. However, we do have those buffer points for quizzes, and we'll get into that on later videos. Again, with these grades, I will say I have the right to change the cutoffs only in a way that can benefit you. I won't be making this course harder or more strict in its grading. You can see the breakdown here. Again, it's a collaborative environment. This is not a weed out class. This is something where if we all are organized and stay with the material and do well, then we can all get A's. Grade disputes, right? If you think an assignment was graded incorrectly. So Rajdeep and I, we're not grading. It's via Prairie Learn. We've gone through and written. The Prairie Learn system will have a lot of opportunities for partial credit, and it will have provide you with feedback on things that you missed. It's pretty well thought out. So if you do have a grading dispute, your grading dispute will start with justification for why you providing justification for why your grade wasn't what it should be, rather than saying that there's an error here. Anyways, okay. Academic integrity. Oh yeah, I should say it right. Right. So by disputing any grading, you agree to allow the instructor to review the entire assignment in question for other errors missed during grading. Requests must be sent via email, must be sent timely. Right. Grade disputes over trivia points will be met with frustration. That is true. Right. And I have to approve grade disputes. Anyways. Okay. Yeah, right. All grade disputes come to me. Rajdeep's email isn't even provided. It's just me. Okay, academic integrity. We know the drill here. Just don't cheat on your exams. Don't go to large language model or stuff like that. It's, yeah, right. You are more likely to be caught than you believe. Yeah, okay. In this course, we have ed for labs and quizzes for questions, and I've said that you can share as much code as you want. So this isn't really that big of an issue for this course, except for just exams. Extended. So if you thought this video was not long enough, then there is an extended syllabus where David Dalpiez provides further thoughts. It's good. I like it. I like the extended syllabus, but I understand people may not have, may want to invest in time, and I get that, but it's good. I learned some stuff in it, how to stay, how to prepare for a long semester and stay on top of your game, sort of like physically and mentally. It's got some nice stuff, some nice pointers in there. And then last thing, I reserve the right to make any changes to the course. I will, if changes are made, I will give everybody ample notice. It's just more, I haven't really had to use this in the courses I teach, but it is there. It's part of the rules. Okay. All right. That is the syllabus. That is course materials. Right, let's go home. So this is our website right here. And this is the fall 2024 semester for Stat 385. It will be taught asynchronous online. I'll be posting videos as we go. There'll be materials that will come in the form of labs and quizzes. You'll have unlimited attempts. Engaging with those things can only help your grade as you go. If you miss points once and then you miss points again, it will never count against you. Your grades can only go up. It's meant to be a fun system. It's a low stakes environment as great as these materials come in, and then our first week is even a lower stakes environment. So I hope that we can have I hope that we can learn a lot in this class, and it is important stuff. It's stuff that I do quite a bit. It helps with, the stronger we are, the better our foundation with R, the stronger we are as programmers, or I should emphasize statistical programmers. The faster we can transform data sets and write functions to do tasks means that we can find the right questions to ask and answer, and we can, it's something that I think that because I work with this material quite a bit, it helps my research. I don't know, just a very fundamental level, I would say. I'm an applied statistician, and I do methods development for real world problems, and being able to use R means I can, find real world problems to work on. Okay, so I'm excited for this class. I hope you are too. All right, and then after this video, you can view the other videos where we go over the labs and the quizzes. So here we are, and let's have a great semester. All right, take care. Bye.